be careful. What is x in this case?
X is the tax rate.
It's the main tax rate.
It's the difference between mean. So, once again, in which case do we have a x of 0? And the tax rate is the same in our country, the average. So if we have an average, you calculated it, 22, the same like the other group, yeah, 22%. So if our country, our tax rate is 22%, it would mean that the difference is 0. So if in our country, if our tax rate is 22%, it would mean that we have a level of FDI of 44% of GDP. It makes sense. It's lower because my tax rate is not 0%, rather 22%. Okay, but still, please be careful. Still, the coefficient must be the same. In the other group, we have some results are different, considering our coefficient. It's not possible. Why that? Because the interpretation here is if I will increase my tax rate. If I will increase my difference between my tax rate and the average tax rate by 1, it's just the same. It's just an increase by 1, right? That's why the coefficient must be the same. So, okay, last small exercise. Yep.
The expressions are exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah, that's exactly the same. But here you have to be careful about the interpreting of intercept.
It's also the same as
Sorry?
It's also the same as the previous one.
So the main result is the same. The only one difference is, in this case, I would say if the tax rate is 0, then 83% is the level of the FDI. And here I would say if my tax rate is the same like the average tax rate among other countries or all countries, then my FDI level is 34. Yeah, which is also an interesting statement and result. So. Now, the last small exercise before our break is exercise where we will modify once again our tax rate in percentage points, like here. We have still our baseline result, and then please now divide your tax rate by 100. So it means that we have for 20%, we don't have just 20, we have 0.2. Yeah, and then try again what kind of result we will achieve.
Chị ơi, em hỏi mỗi cái phần này, cái phần 4 mấy này là thế nào? Là khi tất cả các country đều có cái tax bằng cái average, bằng cái trung bình à?
Ý là tại vì chị chưa có vẽ ra được cái đó, em vẽ được cái đó.
Thì cái giá trị này, cái giá trị mà mình tính sau á, để vẽ cái này nó không phải là bằng cái mean trừ đi cái ấy đâu, mà nó bằng cái trung bình trừ đi cái đó.
Bằng cái tax rate trừ đi cái trung bình.
Bằng cái trung bình trừ đi cái tax, hoặc là cái tax trừ đi cái trung bình thì cũng được. Nó sẽ ra là nó có giá trị âm, có giá trị bình dương. Em nghe thầy bảo thì là cái trung bình trừ đi cái tax. Không biết là nghe đúng không? Hả?
To increase the tax rate by 100%, you should know it. Yeah. So here interpretation would be if you would increase in your country the tax rate by 100%, your GDP would drop by 170. And once again, in a country, if a country would say, okay, it's not sensible, we don't want to increase our tax rate by 100%, maybe by 10%. Then, if I would increase by 10%, you have, of course, the calculation for that.
20% tax rate.
If you, yeah, so then our FDI would change by.
I would say minus 100.
So once again, 100% as the equation for. If we would increase not by 100%, which is 1 unit, rather by 10%, So the decrease of FDI would be by, not by 170,
0.5 divided by 10, right?
By 17.
17. 17. You just have also to divide your coefficient by the same value, in this case by 10. Thank you very much. Enjoy your break. Let's say 15%, 15%. 15 minutes. And let's move a little bit, enjoy the weather. I will log up, so please leave the room. By one would mean by 100%, where tax rate is a huge difference. Then your FDI would decrease by
Các bạn nói em thấy ra mang cặp đó.
1%, which is also a high value for our data set. So it's not sensible as a policy for our Here we have a small advantage in comparison to this trend line. Why that? Because in the case of a trend line you have these two columns sticking to each other. In this case it's not the case, you can really pick up data you need. So the Y range is once again FDI, X range is our tax rate. And then please check the box labels, but only in the case if you selected also your labels or your names for variables within the range here. Yeah? If not, then no. And here the question in the other group was, okay, what is this output range is just a place where you will have your results. So you could take a new worksheet. In our simple model, I would recommend to take the same. So take the next column. Yeah.
For exact input range, we should choose only numbers or with
Only, as far as I know, it would be enough to take a beginning, the starting cell, the first cell. Yeah. It would be the corner for your whole result. So let's take a cell which is outside, of course, of your data set, and then it should work. So, could you cope with it? You have already your results? Yeah? This kind of? Great.
21?
Yeah. It's a very poor number of observations, so please forget it. So try to start a serious investigation having 20 observations. Yeah? Don't do it. It should be clear. It's just a simple exercise, a simple model, and that's why, of course, this number is not appropriate to run a regression. But we have 21, okay? Our regression is here. So once again, our trend line, it should be same, yeah? Because that's the same methodology. So our trend line was y is equal to minus 1.7 times x, that's the coefficient, plus intercept 83. It must be the same. R squared must be the same. There's also the so-called adjusted R squared for the case that R squared will increase if we would have more, for example, more variables, independent variables, or also if we would lower our number of observations. And that it wouldn't make any sense, because it's actually, it shouldn't be that we have a more powerful model only because we have a lower number of observations. For that reason, for that purpose, we have also the so-called adjusted R squared, which is a better measure. As long we can find a very significant difference between this adjusted R squared and R squared, it's actually a good result, but still, please stick rather to the adjusted R squared.